Cheers then, my little guzzlers. Nice G&T, because it's summer. Well, it may not feel like it, may not look like it, but it's summertime. And so tonight we're going to have a nice, sexy, seductive summer salad with char-grilled vegetables and tuna. So let's get started. So what you're going to need is one of these to get going. A nice aubergine. And what we're going to do is we're just going to slice the top. And then we're going to gently slice it into some thin slices. Don't want that bit of cool skin on it. So, you might want 2 of these. You might only want 1. Choice is yours. So we're going to slice this up into them nice thin slices, and then we're going to do the same with a nice courgette. So chop the ends off, and then you actually get a straight one. Always got a bit of a bend in it, isn't it? So what we're going to do, same thing. We're just going to take some thin slices, and we may wish to do this with 2 courgettes, but I'm not sure if we're going to get quite enough out of this one. So that's the veg that we're going to char grill. Okay, so I'm just going to clean up the mess, and for that I've got myself a nice new pan. Okay, nicely ridged aluminium non-stick. Got myself some silicone grips on it, so don't forget and pick up the thing and burn me bloody hands. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to get that nice and hot, but before we do that, we're just going to caress these slices with some oil. So I've got my brush and I've got my oil, and we're just going to gently stroke it all over to lightly coat each slice, front and back. Now we don't need to put any seasoning, because we will be creating a nice seasoned dressing. So we flip it over and now start working on the back side. And we'll do the same with the courgette. But before I do the courgette, I'm going to put my grill pan on, and I'm going to get it onto a nice high heat. Don't need any oil because we've greased the slices, and then we're just going to cook them so they're nicely grilled. So pick up one of the nice greasy slices, a bit of greasy oily, and just lay it gently on that ridged bed. And what we're going to do is we're just going to char grill them on both sides. We're going to need to flip them again. Got to work on the back side as well as the front. Okay, and then when they're ready, we'll peel them out and just place them on the plate to cool. Okay, so I've got the rest of the courgettes to oil up. It's going to be oily tonight, and then we'll grill them as well. So ready to flip. Just turn it over and allow those hot ridges to caress the other side. Grease the courgettes. So, and I add a little top up. So we're going to get these grilled, and then they can lay in their hot, oily goodness while we prepare the dressing. Now what we don't want to do is get the dressing done and shovel the salad in there. The salad's going to be some garlic, some mustard, some cider vinegar, some oregano, garlic, salt, pepper, olive oil, and then into that we're going to toss some rocket and some fennel. But we won't put the salad ingredients, including these, into that until we're ready to start cooking the tuna, because otherwise the longer those salad things stay in that dressing, the more it'll soak it up and get soggy, and we want it nice and crisp. Okay, so when we're ready to move on to preparing the salad, I'll let you see what we do next. So that's the veg as such, char grilled. Still need the pan because we're going to char grill the tuna. And to Amazon, you'll be getting not a very good review. Them silicone grips, shit. Okay, it's not as hot as picking up the bare bloody metal, but that is off. So no 5-star review for them. Anyway, so got my fennel. Now these are quite small bulbs, so I've got 2, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to chop the tops off and the bottoms, and then I'm going to slice it in half. And there's not much of a root in this because they're quite small, but I'm just going to take out a very centre bit because it might be a little bit tough. So I should do the same with the other one. Actually, to be honest, I don't think I need to bother with this one. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to slice it thinly. And I've got a bowl there with some rocket in. Now, if you're not too good at your slicing, you can use a mandolin, that's fine, okay. But I don't need to with this. And certainly not with this lovely sharp Japanese knife. So, I'm just going to get the rest of that fennel chopped. Just going to chuck it in a bowl of rocket because that will just go into the salad together. And then we'll move on to the dressing. Ooh, that's going to need some. So that's me fennel chopped. And you may have noticed, actually, I didn't actually say earlier, had a couple of the gins, George Bishop gins from Mason Gin Distillery. Very nice, very nice. And now just on a Yellowtail Shiraz. And if you can actually see that, there is half a bottle gone. I haven't drunk that tonight. That was yesterday. Oh, very nice. So, I need a big bowl because I'm going to do a bit of tossing into this bowl. So the first thing I'm going to toss in there is some garlic. Okay. So in goes my garlic. And then we're going to want to take a lemon, chop the little bugger in half, and then take our nice little juicer, thrust it in, and get out all that lovely juice, along with the pips that are just falling in. We'll get them out in a minute. So, I'm just going to get that nicely juiced in there. Oh, can you hear that? And like I say, we'll get the pips out, and then we'll add the next lot of ingredients. So, if you've got some fresh oregano, we want about half a teaspoon of that. Okay, I haven't got any fresh, so I'm using dried. So then that goes into the pot. And then we're going to want some Dijon mustard. Okay, and for that we're going to put in there 2 teaspoons of that. So 1, being a bit generous, 2. That's the mustard done. And then we're going to want some cider vinegar and some oil. So, but we add the oil last off. So I'm just going to sort out that mustard and then we'll add the cider vinegar, and then we're chucking, or we're whisking the oil. So now I'm just going to add a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper, freshly ground. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to whisk that together, break up that mustard, and whilst I'm whisking, I've got about 70 mils of oil here. Just going to gradually add that in, whisking all the time. So that sounds sloppy. Now I'm going to need a little bit of oil, so I'm going to keep that little pot, because we'll need that to coat the tuna. So I'm just going to put that to one side. Okay. So what we now need to do is get our grill pan back on, get it nice and hot again, and then I'm just going to get my tuna, which I currently got sat over there, but I just need to unwrap it. I've got some cling film over it, so the flies get into it. And also I need a bit of wine. And all we're going to do with the tuna is, again, we're going to lightly brush it on both sides with oil. So I've brushed one side, flipped it over, and now let's just lightly stroke that oil onto the back side. Nice oily backside. And then we're going to place the tuna onto that hot griddle pan. And this is where you cook it to your liking. Now, ideally, you want to be a little pink in the middle. If you don't like it pink in the middle, just cook it through a little bit longer. But while that's happening, what we're going to do is we're now going to assemble our salad. So, I take my bowl, another quick whisk. And I put into that my rocket and my sliced fennel. I've got half a can of cannellini beans, because I don't really like them, so half a can of cannellini beans. And then I take these vegetables, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slice them down the middle, so that they're just that little bit, little bit thinner strips. Okay, so I'm going to get that and then put that in there. So, vegetables are all in there. We're going to toss that in a minute. Before we do that, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn my tuna, start putting the stuff together. Just going to turn it over and grill the other side, and then we'll do our tossing in the bowl. Now, because it's, in a way, it's a bit Italian, the style dressing, if you wanted, you could add some optional parmesan. We're going to do a little bit of that on top. But while we're just cooking that, all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to toss this so that every single bit. Ooh. Look at that. All starting to glisten now. Okay, so we're just going to toss that through, and then I'm going to plate it, and this will form the bed. Tuna. And our final ingredients will be some black olives, some capers, nice and salty, and like I say, if you want, some shavings of parmesan. So, wine's going to need a top up. Tuna's just finishing, so I'm going to get plating the salad. So that's my tuna cooked. So I'm just going to lay that on top of the salad. We're going to add, I should have got a spoon out, shouldn't I? We're going to sprinkle some capers over top. Now you could have done, this basically means I forgot, some of that dressing you could have reserved and then and what you should have done was actually reserve it and then just put one like that, pour that over the top of the tuna. I forgot. Alright, so then I'm just going to add some olives. Okay, you don't need an awful lot of olives. And there is our sexy summer tuna char-grilled salad with char-grilled vegetables. So there's an olive, there's a bit of char-grilled vegetable, there's a bit of fennel and rocket. Juicy. So there you have it. A nice sexy summer tuna char-grilled salad. Enjoy.